previously on the Spielman and Hooley We Tackle Life podcast.
Well, Kings of the Garage.
I'm going to make it look like an accident, but I'm going to ram my car through that front putrid door of yours that is absolutely horrendous.
Well, I'd be okay with that. Because it is horrendous. I have people now telling me on the podcast, hey, we need a picture of the front door.
It's just, yeah, you might have to, it's just a hospital green front door, and it doesn't, it's like, I get the girls wanting that color.
It's a happy color, they say.
That's not a happy color.
No, it's not a happy color.
Did you tell them to change it?
I did, and then this morning when you came through the front door, you said you're depressed, and I thought it was because you got another whiff of that hospital green front door, but it's for another reason, which we will get into here on a Wednesday edition of the Spielman and Hooley We Tackle Life podcast. Glad to have you all with us. We'll talk a little college football, wish a college football coach happy anniversary, and talk about your game Sunday. And boy, first of all, let's deal with the game last night. Two unbeatens, Titans and Bills. And the Titans might have played their best game of the year after being racked with COVID-19. I don't know what that says. Man, were they good.
They were very good. They looked rested, right? And I've been saying this every broadcast that I do, Bruce, and every interview that I've been on, that teams are responsible for their own energy. You can't count on any outside forces or manufactured energy. It's got to be organic from within, and when it is, you can see the result. And there's really, I mean, the games that I've had, it's a clear difference in who wants to be there, and it looks like a struggle for some teams. For example, during the Arizona Cardinals game, when they played the Panthers, they looked like they couldn't get out of there fast enough. They come back east and play the Jets. Now, I get it, it's the Jets, fine. But still, it's an NFL team.
That's usually a tough trip for a team from the West Coast to come and play on the
But
East
it was just a whole different mindset and a whole different team, and they played like it. And so that's what I watched a little bit last night, was the Titans looked like they were excited to be there. Buffalo was trying. There was just no juice, in my opinion. And so the score was reflective of that.
How much do NFL teams get away from whatever that baseline thing is where they're locked in and playing their best football? Then, like, what I picture it is the Cardinals went back and realized, hey, we didn't do last week what we needed to do to be successful, and then they refined it in a week. There seems to be a fair amount of that, and the teams that don't do that, the teams that are consistent, are the elite teams.
I asked Cliff Kingsbury this because I had my own thoughts on it, and after I presented my thought to him first. I said, look, this is what I've noticed, and I don't know how you think about this, but this is something that I've noticed just traveling around doing these games, is that the teams that are playing, not just they're having fun playing. They're celebrating the youth. They're celebrating the fact that they're getting to play football in the midst of a pandemic. And when there's still, issues dealing with COVID and uncertainty and all the things that make people nervous in life, they're still getting to do something, hopefully, that they love to do. And that was the biggest difference. And just by making a play, they're high-fiving each other, and they're enjoying each other, and enjoying and celebrating the fact that they're young, that they're strong, they can make a lot of money, and they can play and do something that they love. And that's a blessing in a time of when a lot of people have been hurt, and financially and emotionally and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely so. And the governor was talking yesterday, with the cold weather coming, he's fearful of another outbreak of COVID. We'll see. The survival rates are really good. The hospitalization rates among the young are very low. So hopefully we've got the best. State of Ohio, yeah. So hopefully
survival rates overall are very good.
Yeah, they absolutely are, 99.9 something. So hopefully we have. And the New York Times, of all places, ran an article yesterday that the worst of it is behind us. So that seemed to me kind of a strange source for that kind of information in advance of the election.
Well, not according to the governor's press conference. It's a living, breathing thing that has a mind of its own.
Yeah, that was exactly the quote. Yeah.
Again, it's and that's just his style of leadership. It's a style that I don't particularly follow, but that's how he chooses to lead, and that's what he's doing, and that's fine. That's just what he chooses to go by. I choose to follow. I choose to lead with hope as opposed to fear. I believe in being truthful, but you can be optimistic when you're being truthful. And I just don't think that's his style of leadership.
At this point, it has not been. Ryan Day's leadership has never been questioned. He's taken the ball from Urban Meyer and seamlessly transitioned. And boy, has he had a bunch of different challenges. First of all, the way he coached his first game as a head coach with Urban on suspension, and then, you know, taking over for a legend and doing a great job last year. And now he's got to deal with COVID and the shutdowns and all that kind of stuff. And we won't get to see his team for 2 more Saturdays, but when we do, it'll be against Nebraska. Yeah, it's not this Saturday.
Oh, but it's 10 days, so.
Yeah, but it's 2 more Saturdays. We'll see it on the second Saturday.
Okay.
So
again, I'm optimistic. You're pessimistic.
well, I'm just saying,
How you
it
present it.
still feels like forever because it's still not game week to me.
Yeah.
So we got Alabama and Georgia this week. That's going to be interesting because Bama's got a great offense. Their defense has played really poorly. Georgia is loaded everywhere but quarterback. And that's obviously the one place you have to be loaded. And the game's in Tuscaloosa. But again, it's like another headline Saturday. And Ryan Day says it's been torture watching these games and not being able to compete. But pretty soon we'll see his team out there, and we expect that they'll look pretty good against Nebraska. But we won't see J.D. Spielman in a Nebraska uniform. J.D.'s transferred to TCU, and he's always had really good games against Ohio State. So I know there'll be some Buckeye fans who'll be looking for J.D. Spielman, and just give people an update on Rick's son and how he's playing so far.
J.D. left Nebraska, and you know, I guess health reasons would be a safe way to put it, but he's doing well now. He's in the rotation, and you know, TCU runs 7 or 8 receivers on her, so he's in that rotation. I think he's, last check, was 5th or 6th in the country in punt returns.
Nice.
Actually had a punt return to set up the game-winning touchdown versus Texas. I've been fortunate enough to, because of Fox doing the Big 12, lack of Big 10 playing, I've been fortunate enough to watch some of these games. I'm just glad he's doing well, and I think he's in a really good place. And so people that have struggled with those type of issues know what I'm talking about. And as a family member, you're just, you know, you want them to be in a peaceful place. And I think that's where he is. And I know that my sister-in-law and Rick and my mom and all the siblings are really pleased at where JD is, and he's enjoying, like I talk about, the joy of playing again. You know, football can be a grind, right? And I've talked to you about this, and you've talked to enough athletes and coaches over the years. I mean, you see how it can age coaches. Yeah. Right? I mean, you see it physically.
I mean, look at the pictures of John Cooper, Jim Tressel, even Urban when they got the job at Ohio State. It ages you. We don't notice it in Ryan yet, but if he stays a decade, you'll notice a difference.
Yeah, it's a grind, especially college. I actually think coaching in the NFL is less of a grind because you're not dealing with as much stuff.
I would agree with that. It's more of a business, more of a tunneled in, doing your thing.
You're doing a football thing.
You can expect more of your players, and if you have a problem, you can get rid of it. In college, you're held responsible for things that are completely outside your control.
Well, I don't know if you can get rid of it because I think, and I'll get into this.
Well, the Jets got rid of a problem. Le'Veon Bell.
He got rid of himself.
Yeah, well.
He just, and I think that there's a player on the Cincinnati Bengals that we might be seeing that take place soon.
We want to say good morning to our friend Nick Serrano in the Worcester area, and we want to say hello to Up and Adam early in the morning, Mr. Joe Dumas.
Yeah, Joe says driving
it's
people.
Almost Buckeye time. Now, I have no idea what Nick is talking about. He says, if that is your fan, can you please turn it off? Can you vouch for me that there is no fan in this room?
We irritate a lot of people.
Yeah, we do. Maybe it's engineering issues with podcasts, but I don't know. Nick, we don't have a fan on, so I don't know what that is. But you can respond with comments on Facebook Messenger, and you can watch the show live as these 3 gentlemen are, and quite a few others are, and we appreciate that very much. So Le'Veon Bell now is out there. The Jets still have to pay him $2.5 million on Thursday, and his $6 million salary for the season. Any team in the NFL can pick him up for minimum. ESPN is out with a story on the most likely teams to pick up Le'Veon Bell. One, of course, is the Steelers, because that's where he had success. I don't know, he's probably napalmed that bridge. This one makes sense to me just because they make good use of every talented player out there.
Patriots.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the list. The Browns are on the list with Nick Chubb on the sideline for 5 more weeks. 49ers, Cardinals, Titans, Dolphins, and Cardinals. Any of those ring a bell for Le'Veon Bell?
I think he'd be a good fit with the Cardinals, to be honest with you. I mean, they have Kenyon Drake.
Chase Edmonds. You got Kenyon Drake going. You got him going this week, you said.
It's amazing what competition does. Either wilts people or makes people rise to the occasion. But Le'Veon Bell, has there been a guy that's worked the system better than Le'Veon Bell?
Kirk Cousins worked it pretty good. Kirk's worked it pretty good.
So he wanted out of there. It was interesting going into that game. Adam Gase, one of the biggest concern was how am I going to handle Le'Veon Bell and play time with Frank Gore. They got a rookie, Michael P. Ryan out of Florida, which there's news out of Florida, which I know you know. But you got to get rid of him. If he doesn't want to be there, then get rid of him. If you want to take the cap hit, take the cap hit. But those guys end up hurting the locker room.
Yes, they do.
Which brings me to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes, let's talk about the Bengals. You have the Bengals and the Colts on Sunday in Indy. You like those drivable games?
I love the drivable games.
Is it worth the
game of the week?
Is it worth the pain of having to watch the Bengals?
Well, here's what I did. I waited until this morning. I'm, as you know, an early riser, and I either work out or get my work done in the morning. I choose one or the other, and after prayer time, of course. So I watched yesterday. I watched the Bengals and Jaguars because I wanted to see the Bengals look
their best. Sure, that's their win.
And they played pretty well. Everybody overall played pretty well. The offensive line was moving people. So then I put on the Baltimore film, and I thought, this is
from their last appearance on the field Sunday.
It was like, this is not even close to being
contemplating a comeback as an NFL offensive lineman after watching that game.
Well, I just think there was no, in order to have a run game. I like Joe Mixon. I don't know what you think about Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon's a football player.
I do. He's got. I mean, you can make one guy miss in the hole. You can't make 3 miss.
Yeah. Well, and that was my point. And if you watch the Jaguar game, just comparison, and it's just little things. Like I can see during a football game, I get a feeling, and when there's movement, like when you can change the line of scrimmage and force the defense to go back to the 3 yards, you're going to have a success, in my opinion, you're going to have a successful running game. Well, they just got stoned up front by the Ravens. 5 of the 7 sacks were by defensive backs, so that you can't
handle the blitz, can't pick up a blitz,
and the blitzes are something that there's no excuse for an NFL team. Teams have team blitz periods, okay, and there's rules, and in order for a team to pick up blitz, you have to have 11 guys on the same page. And let me tell you real quick, if you don't mind, how that works.
Oh, please do.
The offensive line, if they are slide protecting, that means everybody moves 1 step to the left and has that gap. If they're they could slide protect, everybody moves 1 step to the right. Or if they go man protection, that's when we see a running back pick up, and any inside blitzers, that's the running back's job. The quarterback's job is to recognize the blitz. Every blitz has a weakness, whether it's man or zone. He has to know where to throw the ball. But who has to be in tune with the quarterback, Bruce? The wide receivers. So they have to do something along with the quarterback that's called sight adjust.
Yes.
When you see something, whatever route you had on, it converts to another route because of the blitz.
Lack of time for the quarterback to throw.
Right.
Somebody's coming free, he won't have as much time.
And the other thing is, for example, if they're playing press coverage, and you try to get past and run past the guy. If they're playing off, then you sit it down and run a little 3 or 4 yard hitch, but the quarterback and the receiver have to be on the same page. They were not on the same page at all. The quarterback, the receivers, the offensive line, the running backs, they just looked overmatched. And quite frankly, I thought I read an article where Zach Taylor pretty much admitted that they were completely outcoached.
Well, I was going to say, that sounds like coaching and not repping the right stuff.
I think it's everybody. I think it's coaching, but it's also, the players have to be able to execute what is called. So I don't know if it was coached and not executed, but regardless, the coach's job is to get the players to execute. The player's job is to execute. With Joe, look, everybody, he's a fan. I'm a
Burrow,
fan.
you're talking about now.
Joe Burrow. I'm a fan. He didn't play very well on Sunday. Started out really well. I mean, hit a 14-yarder, hit deep out for 17 or something like that. But then he's got to get rid of the football. And this is the same thing that happened to Kyler Murray last year for anybody that follows the NFL. He's got to learn how to avoid negative plays. Joe's a really good athlete, right?
He is.
But he can't escape NFL players like he escaped college guys.
No.
And I think he thinks he can.
Yeah.
And I think he's learning that he can't. When you talk about 7 sacks, 20 pressures, and 15 quarterback hits, a lot of it's on him. He's got to get rid of the football. It's just, that's the way it is. And in NFL, you have to release that football in 2.5 seconds or under. If not, your chances
Bad
of getting
things are going to
set,
happen.
yeah. And so they really have to get in tune. They just look so out of sync, and that offense was not on the same page whatsoever. The defense played pretty well against Baltimore. You could tell Lamar Jackson, quite frankly, was banged up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can't go down 17-0 and say we played great after we got beat 17-0.
No, you can't.
But one of the bad things,
agree.
and they make crucial mistakes at crucial times, which all bad teams do. In the first touchdown drive of the Ravens, did you watch any of this game?
I did. Was this the one where they got the touchdown on 3rd and 8?
No, but they leading to that, they had the Ravens at a 3rd and 14.
Yeah.
And they give up a 3rd and 14.
Yeah.
You can't give up 3rd and 14.
The second touchdown was a pass to Mark Andrews. Again, and you always talk about the back line of the end zone being your friend.
Yeah.
So you're down there in the compressed area of the field where 3rd and 9 down there is crazy hard to pick up. And he just got inside Von Bell, which can't happen. If you're Von Bell, that can't happen.
Right.
You know Mark Andrews is Lamar Jackson's favorite receiver. Yeah. You cannot let him have inside on the goal line, and it was a touchdown on 3rd and 9.
He's a good player too, Mark Andrews. But anyway, then they have, they'll get a 7-yard run, but they'll have an illegal formation. So that brings that back. So it's all these self-destructive things, and when you're a team that is marginal, and I'm just being honest, I'm not saying this derogatory, but marginal in talent, and you want to compete in the NFL, which they can, you can't have these unforced errors. Then, of course, to make matters worse, they lost DJ Reader, who's a really good defensive tackle.
Big off-season signing.
They picked Geno Atkins up, but Geno only played 25% of the play, so hopefully he's healthier. They already lost 2 other defensive tackles. They picked a guy up named Xavier Williams off the practice squad. Trey Waynes, your big free agent acquisition, was out. Mackenzie Alexander, another big free agent acquisition, he's been out. So, but the good thing is and I don't see this with every team, especially toward the end, they are a try-hard team. I mean, they really play pretty hard, and I enjoy that, and I respect that from them. The one thing that was really frustrating to me, and I got to stop taking things personal. I've been removed from being a player for 20 years.
Wow.
I've been removed from being a player for 20 years. And what's very frustrating to me is when guys don't give everything they have, no matter the circumstance. I think it's an affront to the game itself, and I think it's an affront to your teammates.
I think I know who you're talking about.
And it doesn't seem like his personality, but what A.J. Green did after that interception, I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, I did. It's all over everywhere.
And it's so frustrating to me. Now, we're paying, if you're the Bengals, you're paying him $1.1 million per week. Or, another way to put it, $1 million per catch that he has this season. Now, it's not all his fault. But what I don't see A.J. Green doing, and purely from a football perspective, he's not creating separation. And there's a rapport. You know that I'm a fan of Tyler Boyd. I've loved him since I watched him play at Pittsburgh. T. Higgins is coming along. Mike Thomas, the kid they picked up, is decent. It's too bad that they lost Uzama, the tight end, because I thought he was a definite choice of Joe Burrow.
Yep.
The Drew Sample kid isn't bad, but I just don't understand what AJ apparently does not want to be there. Well, if he doesn't want to be there, then grant him his wish, because the only thing he's going to do, he's not tradable. Who wants a 10-year guy that's bitching and that has injury problems?
Not a lot of hands go up when you offer that.
But I can see like Le'Veon Bell has a little juice in the tank.
You would think he hadn't played for 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
He ought to be healthy.
But
Wallet's healthy.
I don't know if A.J. Green does. Maybe he, a lot of times these guys get a change of scenery, they get new life. I just don't see it for the Bengals, in my opinion.
You said it right there. He might be a change of scenery guy. The problem is you have to sell at pennies on the dollar with A.J. Green. 7-time Pro Bowler.
I don't think there's no takers, Bruce.
Oh, I think somebody would take him, but I don't think they're going to get anything above a 5 for him.
Oh, not even close. I wouldn't.
So
why would I want a guy that's injured and can't create space?
Let me give you what might be his rationale for tapping out on that interception. He's got a hamstring. He's trying to play through it. Tackling Marcus Peters on the interception only risks ripping the hamstring, and then he's not available. That may be what he was thinking. I think I know what you're going to say, but that may be what he was
trash can so I can throw up what you just said? Or
no, you always say you have to play hurt unless you can't run. If you've always said if you can't run, you can't play.
He's running away from the guy that intercepted the ball. He's full sprinting away from the guy that intercepted the ball.
I got nothing. I know. That's what I'm thinking. Is he's thinking if I get in that scrum, my hammy's coming off the bone, and then I'm done for the year, and then I got to hear again.
I'm telling you,
the team down.
How fast he was running. West Liberty Salem would have been 3-time state champions if you would have had him on your cross-country team.
Sure would have. Yes, we would have. Okay, so AJ, step up and play up or get out, I guess. Here's the problem with him being in the position he's in as an elite pay guy. You cannot get young players to buy in if stars making what he's making are coasting, because young guys are trying to get to the level he is in terms of his pay status, and if you're rewarding a guy for loafing, it just sends a very bad subliminal message to the rest of the people on your roster.
They've already moved on from him just by, and it's just the way it is. The offense has moved on from A.J. Green. He can't create. How many times we watch a game and they try to throw it to him, he has zero separation. I mean, it's a lot. Yeah. They've gone with T. Higgins. They've gone with, hey, Father Time catches us all, man. It's undefeated.
I think he's got something left, but I don't think they'll get it out of him in Cincinnati. I just don't.
No.
You see this so many times in that organization, and not all of these situations are the same, but they're not all dissimilar either. Corey Dillon had something left.
A year, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got something left.
But in fairness, it's not just Cincinnati. I see it everywhere because I hear the same story every single week.
Carson Palmer, I mean, they have guys, veterans. It's like the longer you're there, the more the darkness of the franchise envelops you. And now you got Burrow, who's your hope for the future, and you have to change that culture. You just have to. Because you're going to waste a transformative guy.
That and, but I know you say Cincinnati, but I'm telling you, if we focused on Cleveland, if you go to New York or New Jersey area, where I was, right? The Giants and the Jets are combined 0-10. 0-10. Wow. In the largest market in the world.
No, they have the Rutgers to look forward to, though, in a couple weeks. So, Shawna will get that all straightened out.
But, I hear the same story about their guys that had to get out, right? The corner last year, I forget his name. He had to get out of there. He played his way out.
Jalen Ramsey?
No, it's for the Giants.
The kid from LSU. I can't think of his name.
I know.
Jamal Adams?
No. Jamal Adams was at the Jets. He had to work himself out of there.
Okay, well, that's who I was thinking.
With the Seahawks. This corner, he was a corner for the Jets, or for the Giants, not the Jets. But
not Eli Apple. He worked his way out of there long before that.
That happens in teams that are losing. But the difference is, like Jamal Adams was a star for the Jets.
Yes, he was.
and he didn't want to be a part of the Jets. I don't care what we read. He did not want to be a part of the Jets. Le'Veon Bell, 6 years or 4 year, $52 million, wasn't working out for him. I don't want to be a part of it.
I don't think you want to be a part of anywhere.
And
you
the players,
paid.
you know what? I don't blame
Yeah.
him.
Now you get him for the minimum. He's worth the risk.
Yeah.
Because the Jets are paying it. If you are exposed in any kind of a legal situation, you need great representation, the kind that Le'Veon Bell got in his contracts. Stan and Kelly and the great team at Willis Spangler Starling, that's our attorney firm of choice. They're on Truman Boulevard in Hilliard, and they can handle anything: negotiation of a contract, approval of a contract. Maybe it's workers' comp, maybe it's personal injury, wills, estate planning. They handle all the biggies and all the small ones too. Nothing is too complex for them. They're a multi-expertise law firm. Willis Spangler Starling, they are online at willisattorneys.com, willisattorneys.com. Okay, Browns and Steelers, and it means something, and it is the first game since Myles Garrett's ugly helmet-swinging episode against Mason Rudolph. They will not get Mason Rudolph this time. They will get Big Ben. The Steelers are 4-0. Browns are 4-1 and have won 4 in a row.
Yeah, and playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Actually watched them against the Colts. And I was trying to focus on the Colts, but I kept coming back to the Browns. And, you know, I thought, you know, Baker was really good the first half, not so much the second half. But the defense made plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Phillip Rivers looked old. Phillip Rivers, the Harrison interception
Dreadful.
was just, that's like a rookie mistake. And he does that. He'll throw it up for grabs.
He does.
But that wasn't even a throwing up for grabs. That was just a panic throw, which you wouldn't think a guy with his credentials and career would make panic throws. And that was a panic throw, which was a little disappointing. Good news for the Bengals, you know, I think a player that I saw as a rookie, and he kind of caught my attention. Marlon Mack has been out, so Jonathan Taylor has come in and done a really good job. Their offensive line is really good. Their defensive front, you know who they are. One of the most underrated interior defensive linemen is DeForest Buckner, which is he's stout. Their linebackers, Darius Leonard was hurt, kind of all pro everything, but the other guys, they all can run and move. Unfortunately, they're playing without Malik Hooker, another good defender.
Very good.
You know, and it's interesting how you read this, because when we live in Ohio and we follow 2 pro teams, right? The Browns and the Bengals.
Well, 3 if you count the Buckeyes.
Well, you know that for part of preparation, 3 pro teams. Thank you. I got that. Yes. And the Maslin Tigers. So actually 4.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, I'm reading all the. We get articles sent, right? And I spend most of my mornings just reading and watching and all that stuff. You would think that the Colts are the worst team ever to play football.
By the coverage in Indy or what?
Yeah. It's just because that's just the way it goes. And nothing changes quicker than the NFL headlines or the feelings of an NFL team, right? That's the beauty of it.
That was Rich Eisen's funny bit on his show, the week-to-week player of the week. Because it's 1 week you are really up and 1 week you are really down in the NFL. And everybody loved the Colts when they were 3-1. Now they're 3-2 and they're garbage.
Yeah, they're garbage. That's what I was reading. They were, you know, bench Rivers. Bench him. You even mentioned on Monday.
Jacoby Brissett. He's rested and ready.
He's completing 70% of his passes. Get rid of him. Shut him down.
He can't get on the same page with T.Y. Hilton. You got to be able to do that if you're a Colts quarterback.
I'm not sure about that.
Will we ever see Andrew Luck play quarterback in the NFL again?
No.
I don't think we will either.
I don't think so either. Hopefully we'll see Captain Andrew Luck.
Captain Andrew. We haven't heard from Captain Andrew Luck on Twitter lately.
So,
happy anniversary, Dabo Swinney. 8 years ago yesterday, he was named Clemson's head coach in the middle of the season.
Seems longer than that.
Yes, it does seem. Well, wait a minute. It was 2008. I'm sorry. I had 8 years. It was 2008. 12 years. There you go. Good thing you prepare for the show, because if we didn't have you, there'd be all kinds of mistakes made.
I get it.
I have it written right here. I just had 8 on the brain.
I get it, man. Listen, I understand.
You
got bigger fish to fry. You can't be wasting your time with me.
I'm talking to pro-life activists. I'm watching the Supreme Court hearing.
We're talking about Dabo.
Let's get our priorities straight. Dabo is 134-31 in 12 years. This will be the 10th straight year Clemson wins 10 games or more. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Will Ryan Day, if he stays at Ohio State for 15 years, ever have a year where he does not win 10 games?
I can't see it.
I can't.
Right now, I can't see it.
I can't.
I mean, I just think that machine is rolling and the future's bright for Ohio State as long as the Big Ten doesn't screw it up.
In 10 years, will Ryan Day have 5 playoff appearances? At least 5.
Should.
He's 1 for 1.
Yeah.
You think he's going to get in this year? So he's 2 for 2.
I don't know if he's getting in this year. No, he should get in this year.
Who's beating him in the Big Ten?
I don't know. I'm watching other teams playing. The only team that really stands out is Clemson to me. Alabama. But Alabama's
Flawed.
given up
Georgia's flawed.
1 million points.
Yeah.
So-
I've said before, I would take Clemson and Ohio State against the field for the national title.
No problem.
I would take that right now.
Yeah.
It has an inevitability that the Cavs and Warriors used to have.
I'm anxious to see how the Big Ten handles the first COVID outbreak.
I am too. That's the one thing that could mess this
Hit
up.
the panic button. Everybody's gonna shut it
Justin
down.
Fields
quick.
gets it, and it's 3 weeks. Now, if he gets it,
No, the league itself.
Oh, the
because,
league, yeah.
You know, Florida's got a COVID outbreak now.
Right, they do,
Yeah,
19
and the
cases.
SEC, yeah, and you know, deal with it and keep playing now.
the way LSU's playing, I'd play them with 19 guys out.
I hope-
I'd beat LSU,
yeah.
no problem.
Did you hear what Ed Orgeron said about Bo?
Did
Did
I quote him correctly?
Got to do better. Yeah.
Oh,
I
about
like
Bo
Bo.
Pelini.
Yeah.
Couldn't stop anybody, yeah.
So
Ed Orgeron's hard enough to understand with a mask on. I got no hope. By the way, just before we ignore it totally, did you see Derrick Henry stiff-armed Josh Norman last night?
Yeah.
Wow.
well, that just shows the talent and strength.
Man,
of these
oh,
guys.
man.
I mean, yeah, that's just amazing, isn't it?
I mean, now, some of it was leverage and Norman being
Momentum and all
that. But it's still just amazing to watch a running back just take a guy and put him in orbit.
Well, and you know, Josh probably 200 pounds max.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow, that was
max.
something.
He's a corner,
Yeah.
so you know we know what that is. I mean,
Yeah.
like
He's not
cover,
exactly.
not
He's
the
not exactly
most
waiting to
physical
hit a
guys
big guy
out
like
there.
that. Yeah, exactly
So-
right.
I'm trying to think of if I ever got stiff-armed like that.
No,
Not
no
like
way.
that.
It's no way.
Now I've gotten run over. I got teeth
Kevin
knocked
Mack.
out. Kevin Mack.
Yeah.
Marion Butts knocked out a couple of my teeth.
Weren't you wearing a mouth guard?
No, I never wore a mouth
You
guard.
never wore a mouth guard, and you never got a concussion.
Never,
That's
never.
amazing.
I do have a rock head, and as you can see, my head is extremely large, and my face is very large, which I've come to realize and confirm during COVID-19 because I put those blue surgical masks on, and I've actually 10 of them have snapped. I got them lined up as casualties of COVID.
Wow.
10 masks
Served
have snapped.
valiantly.
Covered his face.
Oh, well, thank you for your service. We appreciate it, keeping Spiels healthy amid COVID. By the way, do you have your brain whatever you call it, their brain biopsy this week yet? Your COVID
Yeah.
test?
Passed. Yeah.
Oy, oy.
Every
I've not had one of those yet, and I hope I can make it through without having one. Sound very unpleasant.
Well, if you don't have symptoms, don't get one.
Yeah, I'm not
I
going
don't,
to.
I don't have symptoms, and I have to get one. I mean, but it goes back to everything we say, and just like when Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth were doing the
Niners game?
you don't want to work, don't do the game.
I guess.
If you don't want to wear a mask,
Yep,
don't do it.
that's right.
That's the rules for me to work. Hey, I agree to do it. If I don't want to work, I don't have to get
Nobody's
a COVID
making
test.
you do it. That's right.
The people that I work for want me to get a COVID test every week. I get a COVID test every week because I choose to do so because
right.
I want to work.
You're a rule follower. All right, speaking of COVID, health insurance, all those things, very important. AUI Info, very important to know that name, to know that website, to go there and avail yourself of their expertise when it comes to selecting health insurance. This is the open enrollment period for many plans. Make sure the plan fits you, fits your family, fits your needs. Right doctor, right hospital, co-pays that work for you, benefits that match up to where you are in your life. Chrissy and the AUI team stand ready to give you all that information free. It's not a free consultation like a one-time only. It's free because they're compensated by the insurance companies that they put you with. And they can also help your business acquire the best health insurance for your employees, and they'll help you with HR questions. So you don't need an HR consultant either. It's a bonus that comes with AUI. And affiliating yourself with our health insurance brokerage experts, AUIinfo.com, licensed to service any citizen or any business in the state of Ohio. Click on it and use their helpful chat feature or talk to Chrissy personally, AUIinfo.com.
Real quick, I've been doing a little mixing and matching with the CBD product.
Yeah.
I'm actually mixing the rub with the roll-on. It's had pretty good success. And you heard the company or the stores called Subzilla, which are nutrition stores?
No, I have not.
Well, there's 3 or 4 of them here in Columbus, and they're actually going to start carrying the products. So
excellent.
That's good news.
Spielman CBD products available online, SpielmanCBD.com, or at the store in Granville.
Yeah.
So check that out.
I'm sure it's on Main Street. I don't really know, but it's a pretty good
worth
chance.
the drive to Granville. It's a beautiful
little
town.
Granville, there's probably a Main Street, so I'm sure it's on Main Street.
Granville I was noticed the other day, Granville has highest median income of any Central Ohio community, according to Forbes. So all you people in Granville, if you've got aches and pains, Spielman CBD. Walk on down to the store, say hi to Rick, say hi to Ashley.
There you go.
Get your Spielman CBD products. Okay, let's transition into the faith portion of the podcast. What do you have for us
I'm just
today?
going to have you lead off today, since I'm just curious. I want to ask how you are implementing your faith in venturing into the new world of non-sports talk radio.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. I'm trying to prepare in advance for eventualities that I know I will face because I've faced them before. I know what my inclinations are. I know what my temptations are. I know how I have failed before. I've always said that no one is more of an expert on our own shortcomings than ourselves. Even though we're close with our spouses, with our children, with our friends, we and Jesus and the Holy Spirit are the only people, and God are the only people who know everything about ourselves. And so I know that I'm given to combativeness. I know that I'm given to an unpleasant, angry tone of voice. So when I approach the throne of God in the morning via prayer and Bible reading, I really try to lock in on humility, lock in on receiving inspiration, and then when I'm at work, before I go on the air, I pray. My prayer before I go on the air is that I will not do anything to betray the faith, and that I will convey my thoughts in the spirit of what you've often said here on the podcast, which is talk to people, not talk down to people. I'm also trying to police, and I'm not doing a perfect job of this, to not get into name calling. You know, like, there's some words I'm trying to divorce from my speech, like idiot. I tend to use that word too much. So I'm
does
trying
Deborah Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, so I just think that, you know, I'm at an age where I know myself really well. I know where I failed before, and those are my weak areas. And so those are the areas where I have to fortify myself. So again, Proverbs is huge to me, and a verse that came to me this morning is, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. So
that would be Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
Yes,
for those of you following at home.
Yes,
Are you impressed?
I'm very impressed.
With that. I
am impressed. That was one of my children's memory verse.
You know what I actually do? How I know that? Because God has allowed me, and I think it's important. I'm a very generous tipper.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And at the hotels, and this is a way of exposing your faith, by the way. I leave a tip. But with that tip, every single one, thank you. Then I write Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Every single night, that I'm there, or every time somebody clean the room, I leave that. And I was motivated to do that because we can be disciples without screaming preaching from the streets, right? Just a little note. And I've actually had people leave notes in return. Thank you, not only for the money, but I needed to hear that today.
That's awesome.
And so and it's rare that I get something feedback back, but when it does happen, I think that's the feeling that you have that you're being used or that you're able to be positive. That's what I think, is the payoff from God. Because we don't always know the outcome of our exposing of our faith.
No, we don't.
And that gives you a little bit of feedback, and it's pretty rewarding. I have advice for you.
Great.
Because I know, I watched a little bit of the Supreme Court hearing for Amy Coney Barrett yesterday, and I've tried to divorce myself from a lot of it, but I want to catch up, and then I've had enough, as opposed to being consumed by it, which, as you well know, which I used to be. I am no longer doing that. But I was starting to get frustrated, so I turned it off. I really do, because I believe that every senator certainly has the right to ask questions. But when I see somebody on both sides, it doesn't matter, sit there and talk for their allotted time without asking a question or letting her answer a question, it's extremely annoying to me. So, and I know it's annoying to you. I think it's annoying to you.
Yes, very much. I feel for her sitting there. I think she's a very grace-filled person. Her countenance to me loudly speaks that she has the peace of Christ in her heart.
I think it's it's a lesson in grace, and I think it's something we all can learn from. I hope I have, just watching it that I did, and she's very attentive, very respectful, doesn't get flustered when, and you can tell that I think some of them are getting frustrated, because it's kind of the opposite of the Kavanaugh hearings, where you could just see the rage build up in them when they were accused.
The simmering frustration that they cannot move her off her spot. They cannot fluster her.
Right. And I don't mind them trying to do that in a sense, because it's a lifetime appointment. Right. But my whole point of bringing that up is to continue, because I know that it's whatever it goes. I know that this is it's important, and it's very important to you, because now not only are concerned with the direction of the country one way or another, but it's your job now. And so I came across this in 2 Peter 3:18. This is needed now more than ever, and never think you have all the answers. So I will do like Peter told us: grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. To him be the glory now and forever. Amen. But my point is that, and I have to remind myself this, you can always grow. You can always learn. There's more knowledge, either knowledge by reading, knowledge by application, knowledge by experience, or knowledge by just being aware. Just continue to grow. And I want everybody out there that enjoys the faith part of our podcast to don't put a grade on yourself. This is not a non-gradable thing. If you want to just keep growing, don't look at, for example, Bruce used a verse this morning that I happen to know, because only reason why I know it is because I write it on a card 4 times a week. So I just want to keep you guys, and don't say, I could never do that. Well, that's not the point. The point is keep growing. in grace,
Right.
which you have grown in grace by leaps and bounds. I am trying to grow in grace, and I think I've done a better job than where I was 10 years ago. But more importantly,
yeah, big time.
knowledge. There's so much knowledge out there.
Well, and spiritual knowledge does shape you. I mean, that's the thing, is I know I really appreciate your compliment. I am, as I said before, I'm the one who knows how much farther I need to go. But it's a process that it's kind of twofold. Like, Jesus will work with you, and he will chip those we've talked about. Sometimes he sandpapers those rough edges off. Sometimes he just breaks them off. And other times they come off a little bit less painfully. But so much of it is digging in, like the verse in John 8, 31 and 32, where he says, if you hold to my teaching, then you'll be my disciple. So, well, what is your teaching? Well, there's a way to find that out, is read what he had to say. Read the Bible. Pray. Listen for his voice. Then you'll know the truth. So if you hold to my teaching, then you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. A lot of people say, well, if you know the truth will set you free. Well, where's the truth? The truth is in the knowing and in the holding to his teaching.
Seek
and
truth.
That's there. So I just want to affirm you in that, and offer a note to everyone in that it is a very powerful thing as a Christian when people see you pray before your meal eating out, or if you have a hotel room and they see a Bible in your room or something, and then you tip generously. You are demonstrating your faith to other people. We are always cognizant when we go out to eat on any time, and we pray, and when we pray, and we always do, is that other people in the restaurant see that, and most importantly, the server often sees that. And if you chintz on the tip, that's not a good witness.
No.
It's not a good witness.
Well, what's James tell us? A faith without deeds is a faith that is dead.
Dead. Yeah, absolutely so. We did not get to, during the course of the podcast, a mention of our coffee sponsor, Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. They certainly live it with what they do by buying their coffee from growers direct. It affords the growers more money, which helps their local economies, which allows them to do great things in their community, whether it's commerce, whether it's ministry. I believe it's Diego, their coffee connection in Indonesia. It's planted 50 churches. So, the Word of God manifests itself in many ways and prospers itself in many ways, and we appreciate you guys helping us to do what we do here, be a part of what we do here. We hope you will see us again on Friday when Spiels heads for Indy and the Bengals and the Colts on Sunday. So have a great week, and we will talk to you again Friday.